I'm Marcel. And then I can introduce you, or you can introduce yourself, or however you want to do it.
Speak up to the camera?
No, we just talk to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, we just look at each other and talk.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we don't have to look at that at all.
Okay.
So, I put out, if you want me to introduce you, the 14 years experience, I just took off what you had put on your slide. But if you want to introduce yourself short and sweet, and because I already put some of this stuff on the pre-intro slide of what you are, of what you had on there, so they kind of got a gist of who you
You're the
are.
host, introduce it, and then I can just like follow up.
Okay. If there's anything to follow up.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to your brother. I'm James.
I'm Marcel.
And this is Luke, our special guest today. He is a 14-year experienced therapist, a veteran, former VA clinician, who has a seminary degree in theological studies and degree in counseling. And he's an author, TED speaker as well, and he speaks candidly about why we struggle and how men can find pathways to healing. He is made, I can't even see. He is a male who draws on both professional training and lived experiences and creates direct and effective care. He uses all of that. Did I leave anything out? I put a counseling degree. But
You're reading like you don't know me.
yeah.
Like you can just say it off the
I
top
can
of
just
your
do it.
head.
I can. All right, this is Luke. He's our special guest. Awesome male representative who's very in tune to the psyche of men and does a very job explaining it to us very concretely and easily for me to digest, at least. I know it will for some of you out there. So, super awesome dude. What you'll see, and I think that's about describes something you wrote, man. Awesome.
I appreciate it. Well, it's nice being here. And yeah, therapist for 13, 14 years. I guess I only say that because it's like you just meet with thousands of people and eventually you just start to collect data on your own, you know? It's like you can read stuff, you get all the book work and everything, but when you have to put it in practicality, it doesn't always fit. So it's nice to be able to like frames of reference. You get more frames of reference. Like I'm 40 now, and I'm working with someone who's like a 22-year-old dude, and they're talking about like online dating. So they'll talk about it, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I went on like 3 dates last week," and I'm like, "Is that normal? You know, is that normal?
No.
Is it like the normalcy of things?" So I don't know, but if I talk to enough, you know, early 20s, and you start to catch this gist, like that's just what it is, then it starts. You start to get a better frame of reference.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas one, you can say like, "Oh, I don't know, man, that sounds a little excessive," and then you talk to everyone, you're like, "Well, that's kind of how it is." You're like, "Oh, okay, all right," because it's all about. I mean, it's all relative.
This is new norm.
Mm-hmm.
You probably hear that a lot too. You guys talk about 3 or 4.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
common?
Yeah,
For
3 or
single
4.
guys?
Yeah, because there's so many dating apps now. I mean, it's a free for all. I mean, you get on there, you swipe left or whatever they do, and you know
It's so easy.
It's easy. I mean,
Yeah.
it took a lot of hard. It's not hard anymore, man. You don't have
No.
to walk up and you know try to finesse nobody, man. You just get online and send a message, and if they're with it, they're with it. You meet up, and voila.
I think I'm doing it wrong then. I don't think I've been on one date in like 5 years maybe, but I guess I don't want to do it that way, I guess. I'm hard-headed, I guess.
It's like a job,
Yeah.
right? From, you know, someone will probably hear this and laugh like, "Oh, these people don't get it," but you know, from what I gather, it's got to be treated like a job. Like you go through your applicants, right? First is on looks, maybe you're looking a little deeper. Then you start a text chat, and that can go for a while, but you got to kind of filter that a bit because you don't want to text chat with somebody you're never going to meet
Yeah.
very long. Some of them will have, you know, on the female side, strict criteria to meet. Like first meet's going to be like a Zoom meeting or something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to meet that way. And then maybe we can get coffee.
Yeah.
But you want to dedicate your Friday or Saturday night to a person, so you're going to leave a weekday open,
Yeah.
right? So then you're going to get coffee or something like that. Once they move up in the rankings, then maybe you can get Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to waste those.
You get a movie day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play that out in my head, yeah. That would suck.
Well, then you're talking to her, and she could be talking to 3 other dudes, right? So it is survival of the fittest.
Yep.
Who's going to make the cut? And you have to go in to that date knowing that. Where traditionally, I would have never thought that. I would have never thought when I'd be on a date with a girl that she's probably talking to 3 other dudes.
So it's like almost fight to your death, like to see who gets her.
It's its own, what is that? Cuckolding, right? Like who's going to be the one that ends up getting ultimately the fertilization?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the survival?
Yeah, survival of the fittest.
It's usually the one that makes no sense too, I guess, to me.
Most likely, yeah. The more, if you can, if you have good presence in your picture, maybe a good job to back it up, that can get away with a lot. So a lot of deeper qualities won't translate.
Yeah. I guess I'm just a deep guy.
It's advertising.
Advertising.
I mean, you put forth your best picture, and you can say whatever in the description, and you'll get like 3 or 4 dates in a week. You know what I'm saying? Just off of what the illusion that you put out there online of who you are. Because I could go to the Bentley dealership and take a picture in a Bentley and put it online, and next thing you know, I got like 10 chicks in the inbox. Just because you did that. So you set expectations like that. So, and then once you meet up with them, I mean, they're looking for this, and then you ain't got it. I mean, it's a mess to me, to be honest.
But then the results are what they're supposed to be, then, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they went off of.
Well, think about this, right? Like, all of human history, we've met people in our proximity, right? You would met people around where you worked, or places you frequented, people that would have clearly similar. I think a lot about this. You would run into all these people, clearly similar interests, clearly something familiar. You ran into them enough, right? Now all of a sudden you're going online, and in Nebraska here we don't have this problem as much. But you go to some place like San Francisco, which is my primary population because I work primarily out of California, so a lot of my reference points are from the city, and you meet somebody that you had never met, right? And you meet them, and you're like, oh yeah, this is we get along, right? A lot of girls will report to me about these boxes. This guy he checks all the boxes, but you wouldn't know about those deeper like cultural or societal differences until you're like in it. Like some of these people get into marriage, and there was one couple I met. This guy's from India, she's from Virginia. First session I say, well, I mean, there's clearly some cultural differences. They're like, no. I'm like, no? Okay, fine, that's fair. Worked with them now for about 2 years, and just recently they're like, well, I guess there are some cultural differences. I'm like, yeah. You're not raised, he was raised India, and, did the, what you consider, they did well in school and came to an academic university in the States and did very, very well and very, very successful, and does computers, very successful. And then you meet, a woman, she's, got her own success, and then you start having these conversations about deeper things, and you realize you might check box on values, but when you have somebody who prioritizes, because from what I understood, this person's example gave me was he was the oldest, so he was head of the household, so he was in charge of taking care of. And with that being said, she doesn't grasp how deep that goes when she's like, well, when we get around your family, you just ditch me. And I'm like, well, yeah, because culturally what he had seen growing up was dad just did what he did and mom just supported.
Yeah.
So he's not going against you. He's just doing what is in his, his nature.
Yeah.
But she takes it very personally, doesn't think about me. And so you don't get all of that, though, until you've been dating for a while or even married.
Yeah. Because even a Nebraska and a Virginia woman is completely different, because a Nebraska woman and a Virginia woman, they're very strong and attention-oriented women, like they need it. Southern. I consider that Southern still, but
Yeah.
they're very dominant too in how they act and respect and demand a certain quality.
And that's a good point. I mean, I don't think a lot of people take into consideration about, because you're online now, so that really extends your reach, like you said. So now you can meet somebody from India, and you being from Virginia, and the cultural difference is there, but because you were on this
Courtship.
Yeah,
you're putting your best foot forward,
Yeah.
right?
You're not even considering all of that. You know what I mean? So once you do get to that point where, let's say you get married fast, so you get married within 7 months, maybe a year, and now you're sitting with this person, and now everything that you didn't even think of is starting to come out, like you said, about he'll ditch the wife for his family. That's in his culture, but y'all never got to that point where you could discuss cultural differences and how that would affect your family.
Mm-hmm.
So now you the person is sitting here disappointed, and now I guess reconsidering what they did. The question is if it was the right thing to do, because you're so fascinated with, I met this person from over here and he's the right person or she's the right person, and now a year and a half later you don't know what to do. Now you're thinking about divorce.
He ain't the right person.
Did you guys ever see that movie? I think it was called Good Luck Chuck. It was with that comedian. He was real popular for a while.
Dan Cook.
Dane Cook.
Yeah.
And what his job was he would date the girls
To get him married.
and be real, and because every time they would date him, then they'd meet their next person, they'd get married.
Mm.
So he was known as like the setup.
Mm.
And I forget, is it that Jason guy from American Pie, or who's the other? Do you remember who the guy is? I can't remember the other character, right? But
I can see his face. I just can't think of his name.
That's look him up.
online dating is like that.
Yeah.
If you go through 30 bad dates, the next one you meet that's just remotely better, you're like, this one's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all blind to our own frame of reference and how we've all lowered. And someone who just like, even artificially meets that, right? You're like, oh my gosh, this one's so great. It's like, well, they wouldn't have been so great had you not had 30 just... So that saturation of dating you think would bring up the best candidate, but it also might just, put you in a lower state of reference.
Yeah, delusion.
Yeah.
Huh.
Guys too. I mean, imagine you date these women who all got, here's what I want, here's what I need. And all of a sudden you meet one that seems sweet. You're like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet, so considerate. She actually has deep dad issues. And now she's going to be a little bit more controlling.
Mm-hmm.
Where you at? What are you doing? Right? This fear of abandonment drives her. So then at first it seems sweet, but later it goes to, Jason Biggs. Jason Biggs. That was, I was right.
His best friend there.
Yep. And then I think Chuck is getting with the guy.
You looked up American Pie, dude.
Yeah. Is it Jason Biggs? Is he's from Good Luck Chuck? Or did I just put it in?
Dan Cook.
I never really liked Dan Cook, by the way.
Nah, he wasn't that good of a comedian. No offense, Dan Cook, if you're listening, but just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't...
Dan Fogler. Was it Dan Fogler?
Who's that?
That was the dude that was in there you're talking about, right?
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah, because he played on the tennis game, too. Balls of Fury he was in. Real predominant then, too. Yeah, Dan Fogler.
Wow, yeah.
He played in Fanboys, too, when they did the Star Wars, Star Trek thing. I can see him now in there.
Okay. But yeah, I just feel like it's you get these real poor frames of reference and you get one relatively good and your mind is overly convinced, like, I better hang on to this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so couples counseling is always a trip because you see how they got to where they are, but unfortunately these things that are overlooked aren't things that can just be changed.
Yeah.
A lot of them are going to have to be like, when one partner is complaining about the other partner's, well, he doesn't organize very well. I'm like, ma'am, he's probably not going to organize very well.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to have to do more acceptance than he is about that, but he's also accepted things about you he didn't sign up for. That's the thing we forget is like how much of me, like I genuinely say this too to my wife. I when I flipped the script, years ago, because we've been married 13 years, be 14 this year, and first half of that, I remember thinking like, man, why didn't she do this or this? Then all of a sudden I changed and was like, wow, you need to live with me though. Like these deep talks, like it burns her out. But I keep coming at her with more. Like, what about this? What do you think about this? What about this? She just wants to sit on the couch. She just wants to chill out.
Yeah, watch TV or snack, popcorn or something.
That's what she's good at. It. She shows our daughter. She shows her how to chill. Yeah. Like good, because I don't chill very much. So I don't want my daughter to be like me. I want her to have some chilling. I want her to be able to sit on the couch, watch some shows without this pressure. Oh, I always got to be doing something. Yeah. Right. So I find that balance and it helps me be more willing to be towards her end of things, which is further than the dating, but that's what it comes down to. You just got to be more open to like, well, what do I bring to this, positive and negative?
Yeah, you got to take that into consideration.
Which goes into brotherhood of being a man, or even finding friends, right? Because it's like when I meet somebody and I'm like, man, they're weird. I'm like, but I'm weird too. Maybe I'm not the easiest to talk to. Or maybe I made that conversation all about me.
All about me.
Well, because it wasn't about me, I lost interest.
Yeah.
So you just sit there waiting for it. Like, it's almost like your ego or your selfishness. Like, it has to be fed. And if it's not fed, then you just,
Well, yeah. Which I think if people are real honest, and that's what we try to do in therapy, is even if that's something that sounds nasty, let's be honest about it. Like, yeah, that conversation, I found it real boring because it wasn't about me at all. Well, just own that. Now you can do work once you own it. Be like, oh, I'm never going to find anybody in my life if everything has to be about me.
Yeah.
So, do you think the lack of friendship and leaving a person on that social or that first level of friendship, not going deep enough so that you can say this person knows you well enough, is because you accepted the fact that you'll say yourself or you're weird at some point. You know what I mean? Everybody has a quirk or whatever. And are you afraid to let somebody in or get close enough to you to see the quirkiness or to see your word I'm looking for, your
it's like a flaw, maybe?
yeah, flaw.
According to society.
According to society, because I mean sometimes that could stop a person from developing a deep relationship with the bros, because you don't want them to think that you're crazy. So I'm saying, you know what I mean? So do you think because men keep the idea of man, I can only go so far because I don't want them to think X, Y, and Z of me, that they keep them on that surface level? We're going to just stay right here with it. So I won't be judged.
So you have a deep insecurity, right? Well, when you have a deep insecurity, you're going to protect that part from being revealed, right? So narcissism, for instance. Like everyone throws around the term, you're a narcissist. And they say it with what? Like you're a jerk, selfish, self-centered. And these words, self-centered, they're objective terms. That you're saying to me that my point of view is about me first. That is an objective statement. Many people with trauma or ADHD or other mental health, they were in environments where things weren't peaceful enough to be externally, centered. So you're focused on me, because you need to survive. I need to be liked. I need to be accepted. I need to bring joy and pleasure to my parents, because if I don't do that, they get mad at me and they kick me out of the family. Yeah. Right? So when you have a deep insecurity, you're going to do whatever it takes to outwardly present well so that you get accepted by the group. Yeah. Right? And so that's where we try to get to that insecurity and recognize that's a judgment. I don't speak well. Like me personally, I own it now. I'm very awkward. and I realized this was actually just a while ago. I was at the gym, which is not where I find all my answers, by the way. I like going to the gym, but it's not my therapy, if you will. Mm-hmm. But I was at the gym, and I realized, I go, my biggest pressure in my day is having the right thing to say. Mm-hmm. And I'm a therapist, and I work with people all day, and I do feel like there's a certain amount of needing to address or get to the right thing. But even in just passing somebody in the gym, like this older guy was coming into the gym, and the way his body was positioned, he was positioned towards me. I was coming through one door, he was coming through the other. He was positioned towards me, and I remember getting this fear in my body. And so that fear then translated into like making sure I turn my body the other way, you know, just that subconscious, right? And I was like, well, I don't want him to say hi. And I'm like, and you can hear that, like, whoa, what a jerk. You don't want this older man to say hi to you? And I don't want to, not because of him, because I feel pressure on myself to say the right thing.
Gotcha.
And I might be, oh, what, whether, like, what if I don't say the right thing, or, like, I don't watch a lot of sports. So when people drop sports talk on me, assuming that I care deeply about sports, I get like super insecure, like, oh yeah, because I've seen faces of men when I go, yeah, I didn't watch it. Yeah. They're like, oh, like all of a sudden now I'm this. Oh, you're one of the feminine types, right? Or you're one of those academics, and then I'm no longer relatable. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my people pleasing is often, or saying the right thing, I feel is very important to me, so that I get seen as like a common, relatable person. Because if I say something weird, awkward, now they feel weird, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish they just would have never said hi. Yeah. All that goes through my head in a split second. You know? So, the friendships, to your point about insecurities, I believe are rooted in this deep fear of, if this part shows up, it could get rejected. Or something deeper, but you can explore that in therapy. If you're willing to admit it, if you're willing to admit your deepest, darkest thoughts, and you accept that, now we can do work with it. Like me just talking about this right now is power. Yeah. You want to see real man power. It's to own all your insecurities and just be like, yep, here it is. Yeah. Some people will not like me. A lot of people do. I believe humans are attracted to authenticity, genuineness. And so when you're genuine, even if it's something that people don't really like, there's still a safety in that. Yeah. There's like if you meet an asshole, right? But they're always an asshole. There's safety in that. Yeah. Because he's always an asshole.
Yeah, no matter what.
You know what he's got. Yeah. I was like, oh, this Jerry. He's always a jerk.
Right.
It's just him.
It's just him. Yeah. So you don't take it like, oh, Jerry should change. Should he? Probably, but I'd rather have comfort in somebody like that than wishy-washy person that's agreeable, but then you're like, I don't think you agree with me here.
Yeah.
That makes me uneasy.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, well, when are you going to not agree?
Yeah, when's it going to go too far?
Right.
After I murder somebody?
Yeah.
When
I need you?
Yeah, when I need you? Yeah.
That's why I think men really struggle. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, theologian from the early 1900s during the World War II German, I'm poor on these details, but like the theologian about World War II around the time of Germany's takeover, he says, a man never meets another man, he meets his ego. Right? We meet the person's persona, we meet the person's who they want to be, who they think themselves to be.
Yeah.
So you gotta, once you're with someone long, you see their patterns, you see their you get to really know, not by what they say, but by what they do, their consistency.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Cause I think one of my big insecurities is not like what you said about people pleasing. I think it has something to do with that, but like I'm so good at conversing and interacting with people all across the board. But as soon as like the introduction, like you put me on the spot, then like my circuits get all fried. So and in my head, all that's processing like I don't want to say the wrong thing, or I'm going to say the wrong thing.
And that's rooted in something.
Yeah.
saying the wrong things associated with what? Being dumb?
Yeah.
Not taking seriously?
Not good enough. Yeah. Or whatever, like the mountain that I've climbed so far. I have a feeling that it'll put me back down.
Oh, yeah. I'm one rock away.
So once I'm on that spot, but if you take me off that spot, boom, 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 zigging and zagging, and everybody's laughing and having a good time.
Would you just James?
Yeah.
Not presentation James.
Yeah, presentation James. Game on James.
Mm-hmm.
Or big game James. The big game James does show up eventually, but usually it takes a while. But like at first though, it's like that little scared kid that's coming out the closet for the first time and he's seen the light, malnourished. You know, just like he left, not to say nothing about it, but like just walked off the camp. I'll just keep it at that. And malnourished, like the clothes are like stuck to my body. But then I loosen up and get a little strength and then off and running. Yeah.
That's self-ownership. Right? What's his name? Number one podcaster out there. He did that self-ownership. He was a former Navy SEAL.
Wilcock? Jocko.
Jocko.
Yeah.
It's self-ownership, right? You gotta own all these parts. Because if you don't own it, you can't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
If you don't own that car, you ain't gonna be doing mods to it.
No.
Right? And so, same thing with our own character traits. But what do? We run from it. So then now we got this energy in our brain. I always like to look at the brain. The brain's energy is like a 0 to 100. We only get this much. Every one of us only gets this much energy. Mm-hmm. Now, if you got a little bit of energy leaking out to protect an insecure self, well, now you're only starting at maybe 80%, depending on that insecurity. So now all of a sudden, you get held up, car troubles, get to work, and there's some demands, or someone didn't, you didn't make them pleased with what they do, and then all of a sudden, you get home, the kids are crying, or, oh, geez, we got a surprise hospital bill, and all of a sudden, then your spouse comes at you, and it's like, well, I just don't like the way that you clean and organize, and all of a sudden you're past zero, but you don't realize it, and you're still thinking you're 100% you, and you think, well, I can take it. And that's what men are really bad at. I can take it, and then we end up blowing up. So then in therapy, I talk about emotions. Like, well, why you got emotions? Like, no, I'm just not an emotional guy. I'm like, you yelled at your wife last week. What do you think drove that? Was that a rational response? I'm going to get this point across by escalating my voice and yelling at this person. Do you like yelling? Do you like being a yelling person? Well, no. I'm like, then what drove you to such an ignorant response? Emotions make us very ignorant.
Yeah. Would that be emotional isolation? Yeah.
Because again, we're so fearful of these emotions coming up and not knowing what to do with it subconsciously.
Yeah.
Then what do we start to do? But our brain, which that's the worst part, is we think we know ourselves. We think that we know what's best, ourselves, and that's what our ego says. And we listen to it every day. Favorite movie of all time, Jason Statham, 2005, Ray Liotta, Andre 3000 from Outkast. It's got the other guy from the Sopranos in it.
Yeah.
Revolver. 2005 film, Revolver. And when I worked at the VA, I would buy copies of the DVD and give them out. Never got back. Yeah. But that don't matter. I wanted people to watch this film so badly because it depicts exactly what we're talking about. Our prefrontal cortex, that little tiny part of our brain that's formed at the very end of our developmental cycle, it is where we hold our identity, and that's where we think the things that we believe about ourselves are all stored in there. I'm good at this, I'm not good at this, I'm friendly, I'm not friendly, whatever, it's all up there, right? And we think that's everything. We forget that subconsciously our nervous system is running amok. And so, I'm the guy who's got it all together. Yeah. Meanwhile, your nervous system is on fire. You're denying that because when you're young, you can cover that up. Then all of a sudden, you get older, and you don't got that kind of energy no more. That's what I say. As you get older, people just stop caring as much, right? Like, I don't care no more. Wisdom can do that, sure enough, experience, but also too, you got to give your body ain't got that kind of energy no more. It can't be hiding that stuff no more. So all of a sudden, you meet this. Like, you ever meet a mean old person, and you're like, were you always mean? Or what made you so mean? I would love to see you as a 20-year-old. Yeah. I think I'm meeting old people in the future at 20.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it starts out subtle, like, maybe they're politically aligned with an angry part, whatever one you want to fill in, and they just are a little too concrete about just complaining.
Yeah.
Well, that complainer that you can kind of get by with now turns into a bitter old man. Because everything in his point of view is wrong. This is wrong. Oh, AI is garbage. These kids on the internet. Yeah. It's so easy to knock something.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot harder to adapt to something I don't fully understand. So what do? We isolate.
Yeah.
We just shut ourselves out. Because if you have a different opinion than me, I'm not going to react very well. You're going to make me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And so on and so forth. So I think some of our lack of friendships is because our unwillingness to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. me and you talked about that before about like so them men being hard men. So like at school for me, it's like it's easier to we talked about it's easier for me to work in groups with women than it is with men because when I get with men, it's all about who has the bigger stick or so to say, right? And it's about you got to check everybody's ego. And now we can get to the project. Yeah. Where women, I go women, everybody's like. They're all just ready to whatever.
Delegate.
Yeah, you know, or
you're good at that.
Or they'll take it in like, oh, I'm this, okay, let's all do this. Like we did a paper yesterday. I had to turn in for a nonprofit, and then she just did it. Like I turned it in, but she's like, well, you know, this, that, and that. She's like, I'll go ahead and do this and help you out. So she went ahead and took the initiative and did it, even though I'm the leader of the group. But that's just we all just gelled like that. Nobody else said nothing though. The other two guys, you know, not the crickets, you know, like, well, oh, okay, cool, thumbs up, mm-hmm. Right? No particular, so, you know, there's nothing. So,
I was told that. Well, on that note too, I was told this by a pastor mentor of mine because I had talked about theology, and I go, man, people just think about this stuff. Some of this stuff becomes just so much deeper than what it is. And he goes, yeah, but that's the thing, people don't want to think, mm-hmm. And that sounds really I'm like, what do you mean people don't want to think? But think about what we see in the mass media. People just see something and then follow it. Yeah. It's like you didn't think at all about, well, this is a unilaterally aligned political source I'm getting. If you watch Fox News or if you watch MSNBC, you're getting, it's all pretty common knowledge now, you're getting a certain angle.
Yeah, certain taste.
So it doesn't matter what your preference is, right or left, you're getting one taste, right? Please tell me you're aware. You're getting one take. And at least be open to thinking about like, well, that's what this side's presenting, that's how it's seeing it. What are other things I don't even know? That's why I don't even have a political or opinion on many of the political things going on right now. I don't know enough to have a true opinion.
Yeah, real opinion. And that has to make you think though. I think that's why my circle is so tight, because I like to surround myself with men who think.
Yeah, I mean, not being so narrow-minded, like you said, man. Some people watch MSNBC and think that's it. Not being open-minded enough to look at a situation 360 degrees before you can just really give an opinion on it, because there's so many different angles on it. So
you hear this all day at work, right?
Yeah.
So when you're hearing it, and you got a job to do. Your job's mine, but like you got to perform a skill while doing it.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind. My hairstylist, she was like, "Oh, he works such long hours." As she's cutting my hair at 8:30 p.m. Yeah. I'm like, "You're here working."
Right.
I go, "What are you talking about? We do the same thing. You listen to people talk, and most of my people, you just give them a space to talk. They're not really working through stuff, right? They don't really want anything, especially California, the way they treat mental health. It's just like, I just need a place to go where I can dump this, because I can't dump this on my friends or family. And they're not wrong, because some of the stuff that they tell me every week, I'm like, yeah, you burn out any friendship with all this, right? They're not wrong. But, so with what you hear at the barbershop, like, how do you get through those moments and still stay friendly or,
I mean, I look at it, it is what it is, and everybody has their own view on life. Everybody has their own opinion. And sometimes people's opinions will change as they get older, man. Sometimes I could be the person that could at least give them a reason to take a second look at what they're thinking about. Because, I mean, if we get into, like, a discussion or whatever, man, and they're just head on just thinking this way, I could curve a little bit while I'm cutting her hair and be like, man, have you ever looked at it like this? Or why you think she acting like that? You think it's because you're doing X, Y, and Z? Or
Now you would say that's somebody you've been working with for a while?
mm-hmm.
Somebody you have a relationship with?
Yeah.
Okay, see, otherwise, you ain't doing it first timer like
No,
that.
I have talked to people first timers, but
What makes you say that to one person and not the other? Right, because you ain't doing that to everybody.
no. So I mean, reading people.
Yeah.
So first, once you sit in the chair, I ask what we doing. You start talking about what type of haircut, and then I just start with some obvious questions. The weather and stuff like that, just to warm them up, and then we'll start. I let them initiate it. So if they start talking about a certain topic, I'll jump in and start adding to and giving my opinions on things. I would consider myself open-minded, man. I mean, so if like I said, if it's a new person that came in and they feel comfortable enough to open up to me, because I feel like I have an attitude and an aura that I'm cool. You know what I mean? So and most of the people will open up and just start talking. So once we get in the conversation and like most men, it's either they're having issues at home with their significant other or job money issue. So a lot of issues with men is probably their wives and intimacy. And I'm like, man, and I'm married too, so I can understand where they could come from with that, and I could have some relatable situations. I was like, man, she always come in, talk about she tired and such, and I'm like, man, well, you know what? Maybe she is, and she's complaining about I don't do nothing around the house, and I'm like, well, I mean, you probably could pick up your shoes or something.